Hi everyone, in this video lesson we're going to be delving into reading passage 1 from Cambridge 7 by the name Let's Go Bats. Before actually thoroughly diving into this text, it's better to actually understand the types of question is requiring us to complete. So the question number 1, the first type of question is matching features. As you can see, matching features. The paragraph contains the following information is the first thing we have to know. And another important thing we have to consider is you may use any letter more than once. That pretty much means that we can assign a paragraph letter more than once. Examples of wildlife other than bats. So something like other than is just giving us a key feature. Other than how early mammals avoided dying out. This is another key feature for us, I guess. Not really a key feature, but a key word. Why bats hunt in the dark. A paragraph giving us the reasons why they hunt in the dark rather than in the daytime. How a particular discovery. The word particular discovery actually means a very specific one. It could be one. So a discovery as a synonym can come as a breakthrough or something like that, or maybe determination to determine something. And number 5, military uses of echolocation. We have to find something about military uses of the term echolocation. So another second question type is summary completion, one word only. We have to know that as well. One word only, and it's a summary completion where it starts from facial vision. We can see that facial vision. Blind people report that so-called facial vision is comparable to the sensation of touch on the face. In fact, the sensation is more similar to the way in which pain from a something, arm or leg, might be felt. So you can actually, in order to successfully finish summary completion, it is really good if we understand some basic grammar such as prefixes or suffixes, or sometimes even pronouns or relative clauses and stuff like that. And so the continuous sentences are saying the ability actually comes from perceiving. So the word perceiving means so the actual word the perceiving means to understand through the ears. So to understand or to receive something else. However, even before this was understood, the principle had been applied in the design of instruments which calculated the something of the seabed. Seabed, something that is under the sea. This was followed by a wartime application and devices for finding. We don't really know what yet. Yeah. The third type of question is sentence completion. I guess no more than 2 words. No more than 2 words, and I'm gonna choose another color for this. So long before the invention of radar, something had resulted in a sophisticated radar-like system in bats. Okay. Number 11, radar is an inaccurate term when referring to bats because are not used in their navigation system. Something like because there has to be a reason. Radar and sonar are based on similar, so they are similar on a particular theory. We're not really sure again. The word echolocation was first used by someone working as a. So we have to find it. We can already see that someone actually referring to human. All right, so let's go through the text. Bats have a problem how to find their way around in the dark. They hunt. So this is a topic sentence. Topic sentence. This is actually maybe let me choose maybe a let's say green color. I guess it's maybe salad. They hunt at night and cannot use light to help them find prey and avoid obstacles. You might say that this is a problem of their own making, one that they could avoid simply by changing their habits and hunting by day. But the daytime economy is already heavily exploited by other creatures such as birds. So the word exploited means it's to use something well, to use something well, or maybe to use something in order to gain as much from it as possible. So actually, so we'll just write that for you. Exploit means to use something well, or maybe well, in order to gain as much from it as possible. All right, so I'm going to exit that. Given that there is a living to be made at night, and given that alternative daytime trades are thoroughly occupied, natural selection has favored bats that make a go of the night hunting trade. It is probable that the nocturnal trades go way back in the ancestry of all mammals. So the word nocturnal, I guess, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, nocturnal means nocturnals are pretty much bats, so there are pretty much bats. Nocturnal, let me just write that quickly. It means active at night. So bats hunt, and actually bats they prefer nighttime rather than daytime, right? In the time when dinosaurs dominated the daytime economy, our mammalian ancestors probably only managed to survive at all because they found ways of scraping a living at night. Scrapping a living, it's a really good word actually here. Scrapping a living means to, let me actually write that down. Scrape a living, according to Cambridge Dictionary. Scrape a living means to only just earn enough to, let's say enough something. It could be something, maybe money. It could be some literally anything to provide yourself with food, clothing, and a place to live. Probably shelter, you could say, informally maybe. All right, so only after the mysterious mass extinction of the dinosaurs about 65 million years ago were our ancestors able to emerge into the daylight in any substantial numbers. So this paragraph is actually telling us that the bats have a problem, and how to find their way around in the dark. So it means they hunt at night and cannot use light to help them find their prey and avoid more obstacles. That basically means the first sentence presents the problem from a perspective of the bats themselves. So, and there are giving explanations on how they struggle to navigate and hunt without the aid of light, right? So if we can see the questions, how early mammals avoided dying out. So pretty much question number 2 is, we can give that as B, because, let me close that. We can already find it is probable that the nocturnal traits go way back in the ancestry of all mammals. In the time when dinosaurs dominated the daytime economy, our mammalian ancestors probably only managed to survive. This is something we've been searching for. Only managed to survive at all because they found ways of scrapping a living at night, right? So how early mammals avoided dying out. So they basically hunted their prey at night to scrap a living, it means to find money. But of course animals cannot find money. Their money is prey, or between an animal, so they hunt after each other and pretty much eat themselves, right? Yeah, so question number 2 is B. All right, so now let's go with the other one. Bats have an engineering problem: how to find their way and find their prey in the absence of light. So we have another one, but the engineering prey. All right, engineering problem. The thing is that the second sentence frames the issue more objectively as an engineering problem. It is, we will see what's actually is it saying. Bats are not the only creatures to face this difficulty today. We can already find this information for us as a hint for examples of wildlife other than bats which do not rely on vision to navigate by, which means obviously the night flying insects. So this is the first one, you can see that that they prey on must find their way about somehow. Deep sea fish, that's another one. Whales have little or no light by day or by night. Fish and dolphins, another 4. that live in extremely muddy water can see, because although there is a light, it is obstructed and scattered by the dirt in the water. Plenty of other modern animals make their living in conditions where seeing is difficult or impossible. So that is just the basic. It's a very elementary, I would say, very elementary or very basic kind of a paragraph. Is so we can literally assign that. I'm sorry, but this one is not A, but this is what it's, I mean, not B, but A, and this one we're gonna give that as a B. Now, jumping to paragraph C, given the questions of how to maneuver in the dark, the word maneuver means, let me actually bring this a little bit down so we can, it flows along with us. So maneuver, let me write that down. Maneuver, right? So maneuver means a movement performed with care and skill. All right, so that means given the questions on how to move with care in the dark, what solutions might an engineer consider? The first one that's giving, the first one that might occur to him is to manufacture light, to use a lantern or a searchlight. So to use a lantern or a searchlight. A lantern is something like a lamp. Earlier days people used to navigate through the dark. So fireflies and some fish, usually with the help of bacteria, have the power to manufacture their own light, but the process seems to consume a large amount of energy. Fireflies use their light for attracting mates. This doesn't require a prohibitive amount of energy. A male's tiny pinprick of light can be seen by a female from some distance on a dark night, since her eyes are exposed directly to the light source itself. However, using light to find one's own way around requires vastly more energy, since the eyes have to detect the tiny fraction of the light that bounces off each part of the scene. So basically, we don't really have any information for these questions. Why bats hunt in the dark? Not really, because C is not giving any answer for any of these questions. I mean, question statements. So basically, C is not answering any of the following questions from 1 to 5. So we will just, maybe we can just literally read more. So the light source must therefore be immensely brighter if it is to be used as a headlight to illuminate the path. So the word illuminate the path. So let me slide that down. Illuminate the dark, or no, the path. Sorry for that. Illuminate. The word illuminate means to shine light on something. Right? To shine light on something, I guess. Yep. Use a headlight to shine a light on the path. Then, if it is to be used as a signal to others, in any event, whether or not the reason is the energy expense, it seems to be the case that, with the possible exception of some weird deep sea fish, no animal apart from man uses manufactured light to find its way about. So yeah, still no information to any of these following questions. So right, let's go for the other one. What else might the engineer think of? So what else might the engineer think of? Okay, it's giving us a question, so it's a referencing. Well, blind humans sometimes seem to have an uncanny sense of obstacles on their path. The word uncanny means another word for we have to consider. Let me actually slide it over here. I guess can I actually slide it now over there? I cannot. So okay, let me give it another note then. So uncanny means strange and difficult to explain, right? So this is actually what actually means. Okay, uncanny. So seem to have strange or difficult sense of obstacles in their path. All right. So I guess it's not really explaining anything, but I also think that why bats hunt in the dark. It was explaining somewhere in the paragraph A, because because you can see that it's saying you might see that there is a problem of their own making that they could avoid simply by changing their habits and hunting by day. But the daytime economy is already heavily exploited by other creatures, such as birds. The birds could be it could be any literal bird from it could be an eagle, or it could be a crow. It could be anything. So basically, bats hunt in the dark because at the daytime it is heavily exploited by other creatures such as birds. So I think that the question, not really think, but I'm pretty sure that question number 3 is A as well. Now, for how a particular discovery has helped our understanding of bats, we're gonna jump to the next question, the next paragraph. Sense of obstacle in their path. It has been given the name facial vision. Facial vision, another one. So we can actually navigate a little bit lower and we can find facial vision. Blind people have reported that so-called facial vision is comparable to the sensation of touch on the face. Okay. On the face, we can see that touch on the face, like the sense on the touch on this face. All right. Can underline that as well. One report tells of a totally blind boy who could ride his tricycle at good speed around the block near his home using facial vision. All right. Experiments show that. So okay, let's see. In fact, the sensation is more similar to the way in which pain from something. All right. Experiments show that in fact facial vision is nothing to do with touch or front of the face, although the sensation may be referred. The word sensation may be referred means more similar to the way in which front of the face, like the referred pain and a phantom limb. So so the correct answer for that is going to be phantom limb. Let me slide this a little bit lower, and the answer for number 6 is going to be phantom, right? So what is actually a phantom limb? So if you had an amputation, you may develop a phantom pain. The pain is real. It is real, but it feels like it's happening in the missing body part, right? So this condition may gradually go away. Some people have this residual like limb pain in the remaining part of the limb. But pain relievers or treatment called mirror therapy can actually ease a phantom pain. So the word phantom means a ghost. And let me actually just write that. A ghost. Ghost. Something that cannot be seen, or something tangible or maybe intangible. I'm sorry. So question number 6 is phantom, because the word limb is somewhere around arm or leg. The ability actually comes from perceiving something through the ears. Okay, we will read that real long. The sensation of facial vision, it turns out, really goes in through the ears. So okay, so really goes through, goes through the ears. Blind people, without being aware of the fact, are actually using echoes. So they're basically using echoes. So the answer for that is going to be perceiving echoes through the ears. So read number 7 is going to be for us echoes. Okay, let's go more. However, even before this was understood, the principle had been applied in the design of instruments which calculated the something of the seabed, using echoes of their own footsteps and of other sounds to sense the presence of obstacles. However, this option could another variant for us could be also obstacles, because perceiving obstacles, so like presence of obstacles. So they basically use echoes to to receive an information through the ears, or sometimes using obstacles in the presence of obstacles. There's some sort of an obstacle, so they basically hear through the ears. Before this was discovered, it actually is giving us even before this was understood. We can underline that as well. We will say as a yellow color. The principle had been applied in the design of instruments which calculated the something of the seabed. All right. Before this was discovered, engineers had already built instruments to exploit the principle, to use it. For example, to measure the depth of the sea under a ship. So to calculate it, which calculated the depth. So actually, that is depth. All right, there we go. I'm gonna use that once again. This was followed by a wartime application and devices for finding something. After this technique had been invented, it was only a matter of time before weapons designers adapted it for the detection of submarines. So wartime in finding detection. So the word detect means to find, finding. So finding. Number 9 is going to be submarines. So let's go into number 10 now. However, so question actually 4, I guess. It's not really how physical discovery has helped. That's not really talking about it, but discovery yet. The sonar and radar pioneers who, if you know the meaning of pioneers are those who found or discovered something at first, people, right? So this sonar and radar pioneers didn't know it then, but all the world now knows that bats, or rather natural selection working on bats. So natural selection working on bats. Let me choose another color for that. Let's go for the pink, I guess. Had perfected the system tens of millions of years earlier, and this is actually another signal for us. Blind people, not really that. Long before the invention of radar, something has resulted in sophisticated radar-like system in bats, and their radar achieves feats of detection and navigation that would strike an engineer dumb with admiration. So dumb with admiration, let me guys explain that for you. Dumb with admiration. All right, so dumb with admiration is a really good context here. Many people will say that maybe dumb is kind of really stupid, but no, dumb doesn't mean lacking intelligence in this context. So, but rather being speechless. They are left speechless. I mean, it's a really colorful way of saying that someone is impressed. So someone's literally impressed. So they were impressed, an engineer dumb with admiration. So the with admiration, he was speechless because he was so surprised. All right. It is technically incorrect to talk about radar since they do not use radio waves. All right, so they don't use radio waves. We understood that. So number 10, long before the invention of radar, something had resulted in a sophisticated radar-like system in bats. So had perfected. So, but all around the world knows that bats, or radar, natural selection working on bats, had perfected a system of 10. So natural selection would be the answer for us in our case. So I guess I'm gonna slide that down a little bit, and I'm gonna write number 10 as natural selection. So radar is an accurate term, and inaccurate means incorrect form or incorrect word when referring to bats because are not used because something is not used in their navigation system. All right. It is sonar, but the underlying mathematical theories of the radar and sonar are very similar on much of our scientific understanding of the details of what bats are doing. So basically, underlying mathematical theories and sonar are very similar. Sonar and radar are very similar. So I want to give you another definition word. So dumb with admiration means surprised or shocked. So the word underline, and there is underlying, I guess, right? So underlying is an adjective, but underlies is a verb. So underlie means to be a basis of or cause of something. Whereas underlying means it is an adjective. So underlying means important, but let's say, but not always noticed or stated clearly or coherently, or maybe precisely, whatever the term you might use. Understanding. So mathematical theories. So the word radar is an accurate term when referring bats to, because mathematical theories are not used in the navigation system, because they are very similar. I'm sorry. So yeah, they're very similar. So where is that? Long before invention. It's not that. Actually number 12. I misread it. So 12, radar and sonar are based on similar mathematical theories instead of the question number 11. So I'm just gonna take 12 as mathematical. I think it's mathematical. How do you spell that? Theories. All right. So question 13 and 11 we're not sure yet. The word echolocation was first used by someone working as a. We're gonna find that right now. The American zoologist Donald Griffin, who was largely responsible for the discovery of sonar in bats. So he was the person who discovered sonar. So his name is going to be Donald Griffin. So who was working as a zoologist. I'm gonna take that and say zoologist. And I don't think you need any explanation of what or who a zoologist is. So, however, we are left with 11, and with 4 and 5. So basically, let's just go. Radar is an accurate term when referring to bats because something are not used in their navigation system. All right. So we missed question number. Let's see, question number 11. All right. So we missed it somewhere. All right. So it is sonar, but something, and much of our scientific understanding of the details of what bats are doing has come from applying radar theory to them. So I think that radar is an accurate term when referring to bats. So I guess that it was. I think it's because of. I think it was because of the radio waves, I guess, right, are not used. So let's before this was discovered, the engineers had already built instruments to exploit this principle. All right. So sonar and radar pioneers didn't know it, but already now knows that bats, or rather natural selection worked on bats, had perfected the system tens of millions of years earlier, and their radar achieves feats of detection and navigation that would strike an injury in Dublin and Bridge. It is technically incorrect to talk about radar since they do not use radio waves. All right, so they don't use radio waves because radio waves are not used. All right, so it's radio waves. However, number 4, we are left with still number 4. Let's just take that a little bit above. Number 4, how a particular discovery. So number 4 is definitely number E, because it's talking about the discovery, sonar and radar. So basically how a particular discovery has helped our understanding of bats. So Donald Griffin, who's largely responsible for inventing a sonar in bats that used echolocation. So he used the echolocation to cover both sonar and radar, whether used by animals or by human instruments, so human hands, right? So basically 4 is going to be E. So however, we are still left with 5, early military uses of echolocation. We can already see that D, it was used in the Second World War, and relied heavily on these devices under such code names as Aztec British, Sonar American, as well as Radar American, or RDF British, which uses radio echoes rather than sound echoes. There we go, we found it as D. So there you go, guys. It's a really simple walkthrough. I gave you, I guess, the definition of a particular vocabulary you guys really need, because many would argue that vocabulary is not really necessary, but I would really argue that you know, um, at the end of the day, ultimately, for example, the IELTS reading test, it really evaluates your vocabulary and an understanding of really intricate or really complicated text. So it's really necessary to learn about to learn as much vocabulary as possible. And of course, it's not gonna really hurt you to learn more. So there you go, guys. If you have any questions, you can literally leave your question in the comment section. And if you liked it, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet. And thank you very much for watching.